Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Rockin' the 222 and the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every rocks, that's we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Sweep the league TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play, we bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Rudy calling the shots, with Derek Gervin straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on, tell your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blogs at the drive, till the halls on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
All right, we are back on a Thursday Throwdown edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. going to be joined by Hall of Famer, UTSA Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. Coach Gio should be back hopefully next week, if not next week, the following week. So he will be coming back soon. And according to what Tim Gonzalez said last night, no, he's not in the transfer portal. I promise you. His NIL money went through. They contacted me from the bank, said the NIL check was cashed. Coach Gio's fine. He's just working a whole lot more. So put it this way, Coach Gio's on the recruiting trail right now, so he'll be back here very soon. So it's gonna be a fun time when Coach Gio does get back from the recruiting trail. Hopefully it'll be soon here. Let's get into Leha here. What's good? Let's get it. No feelings, only chaos. I think we're gonna cause a little bit of chaos tonight at some point. Leha, shout out to Chris Leha and the boys. MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Man, they are backed 100% by Sweep the League. If nobody else backs them out there, I guarantee you, myself and the family here at Sweep the League back MCS General Contracting. Their work is a guarantee. It's 100% guaranteed by them. It's going to be done right the first time. Why? Because they are the best in the business. That's Chris Leha and the boys over at MCS General Contracting, sponsors of Sweep the League. Tim Gonzalez. Tar Heels do not suck. They've got the best coach in all of coaching when he's going to be there now. That's probably going to be the first thing that we talk about, too, in Detroit and UTSA legend, Derek Gervin. Let's go ahead and bring him on to the show. It is Detroit and UTSA legend, UTSA Hall of Famer himself, Derek Gervin. Mr. Gervin, what's going on, man?
Hey, shout out to Tim as well. All's well today, man. Just got through watching my Detroit Pistons take it on the chin against the Boston Celtics, but all still well tonight.
Yeah, it's NBA, man. And the NBA is going to be a hot subject tonight for us because right now, of course, we see the 49ers and the Rams playing. I'll get the score update in just a little bit here. But tomorrow night's our pick'em show. We're going to pick our NFL games. We got a couple of college bowl games coming up. Some of the teams we haven't even really covered at all, but we're going to get some winners in there as well. We'll pick those winners tomorrow. But NBA talk, man. You know what? We're gonna save it because I found something that came up here a little while ago, and it involves LeBron James. I want to get your opinion on that, but I bring him up. Look how pretty that looks, man. That looks beautiful. The color
Blue
of
and the white.
baby blue
Baby
on
blue.
so baby blue Bill Belichick. He's B to the fourth power is what we're gonna call him now. So baby blue Bill Belichick. That's a tongue twister in itself. He signed. He's done. It's done. But today the news comes out, Derek, that we all kind of laughed at in the group chat. It's the fact of his buyout is $10 million. But when June of 2025 hits, it's $1 million buyout. Huh. Does that mean well, I'm not gonna lie. It's two things, Derek. College football doesn't start until August, September of 2025. But he's coaching supposedly to at least June because they can't buy him out for $10 million. But the end of June, they can buy him out for $1 million. How does this work, man? Because you know what? I'm going to throw it out there. Bill may never coach a game for Carolina on the sidelines.
I tried to tell you last night.
He may. We're all hyped up, and he may not even coach a game.
The man is a genius. I'm telling you. We talked about it last night, and Carolina Panthers, man, I still believe it. I just think that's the move for him, and this is like a cover up, basically. And I still think I got to say this first, though, Rudy. The part I don't like if he were not to coach, is that you got a lot of these young people now that are basically, planning to head towards North Carolina. And then I would hate to see a coach back out. It kind of reminds me of Bobby Petrino, all the situations, these coaches make these promises to these kids and then they leave. But Bill, in his situation, it's a little different because there's no guarantee he's going to even get in the door. I hope when I heard about the $10 million turned into $1 million, man, it just made me say, oh, boy. So if he takes the job, I'm going to support him. But if he doesn't, I still say Carolina Panthers are right down the street.
I believe you on that. And that's something I was going to get dinner tonight. And shout out to Freebirds over at Creekside area in New Braunfels. I got my dinner from there tonight. The guy I know, one of the guys there, he's a manager there, and he told my North Carolina hat, talked to me. Hey, did you see about Bill Belichick? I said, I did. What do you think of that? I said, well, I don't know if he coaches a game for them, to be honest with you. Why is that? I said, well, I mean, he's got a $10 million buyout till June of 2025, and then after that, it's $1 million. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Well, wait a minute. It means everything. Season don't start till August and September.
Right.
I mean, who knows if he coaches the game? I didn't even think about that. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to read the.
Wouldn't he get his $1 million?
I mean, he'd get his $1 million, but
he's a quick way to make some money.
That's a very quick way. I mean, and right now he's going to get paid to just probably be behind a desk. I mean, if we're being honest with everybody, it's probably just going to be behind the desk. I can't see him. I don't know, man. It's like I told you yesterday. I don't know whether to be excited or whether to be scared. I'm more scared than I am excited because.
Have you thought about this? It's different being in the meeting room with the NFL. And as far as being in college, you got to deal with the boosters and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be something new to Bill. And it kind of makes me, if he's starting to get stage fright, the more he thinks about it. Yeah, I can't. Can you really see him having the patience to be dealing with the boosters and all that?
No, the patience for the boosters. And then it's not so much scrutiny anymore because, you couldn't pay players back in the day and all that. Obviously, NIL takes care of that. But then you got to worry about what they're, kids making the grade and being eligible to play. I mean, I know there's backdoor stuff that happens where, you can get a grade here and be okay. But there's a lot more to worry about in college football than there is when it comes to NFL. So I don't know. When he signed, I knew it wasn't forever. I just didn't know it was going to be for like 7 months. That's it. I don't know. I don't even think he's going to be there past August 1st.
And it's different too, because Saban and Harbaugh had college experience already.
Yeah.
And for Bill at 72 years old, I'm just thinking, man, that's quite a transition, especially for a guy that's been in many Super Bowls as he's been in, and all the winning that he's done. That's quite a transition. And then you're dealing with the reason some coaches are stepping away now, older coaches, is because they couldn't deal with the name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And so I think this would be something new for him. Even Tony Bennett, if you remember, the coach used to coach Virginia.
Yeah.
Stepped away. And he was honest about the reasons. So it's a change, and the times have changed. And as a 72-year-old making a transition, I don't know, man. That's kind of like Greg Popovich deciding to go coach at Bradley University or somewhere. No, I'm not disrespecting Bradley, but I'm just saying the transition when you've been in the NBA all these years and then making that transition. And I don't know if Bill's getting stage fright. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It is so, so crazy to think that he's the coach, but is he really the coach? Tim is saying, Derek, over 1,000 college football players in the transfer portal. I don't know how true this is, but speaking of the transfer portal, I saw something come across my feed that said the entire Marshall Thundering Herd team entered the transfer portal.
Oh, boy.
Because their head coach got fired. I'm looking it up right now, and because it came up on my feed. So I'm not, and yeah, you know what? I'm going to bring it up here. I'll bring it up on the screen over here. So we have it right there. It said, Marshall continues to be one of the dumbest and cheapest. Yeah, whatever. It says the entire Marshall football team enters transfer portal after coach's departure. Now, again, I don't know how true it is. I did see it come up, but
I've never heard that before.
I haven't heard it. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is a true statement. I'm not saying like that. So just to cover our butts here, I saw it come across the feed, but here's the thing. You can see teams doing that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past teams, because if they really love a head coach, this transfer portal, everybody can go if they want. I mean, there's no rules, and that comes back to what we said. You were talking about NIL, and you were talking about attitudes and everything when it comes to players. I think these days NIL is pay to play. These guys are adults, Derek. I mean, you're 18 years old roughly when you go into college, 17, 18, you're an adult. I think these NIL deals need to be locked in contracts. For if you want to do a 4-year deal, great, cool. But you've got to be able to have this kind of attitude and be able to present yourself this way, because you're representing a company. You're a business now. So I think that's where NIL has to go. And the transfer portal, as great as it is, if you are transferring out, then if you do it, okay, put it this way, if you do it in the season, I don't know how it works, but if you do it in the season, which has happened before, I think everything should be forfeited for the NIL that you had. I mean, something's got to give. These contracts got to be binding to where kids can't just transfer from school to school to school to school to school. I mean,
it's sad, Rudy. And shout out to Randy Moss, Rudy. While we, Marshall.
Yeah,
I know I've heard that he's not doing well, so I want to send a shout out to him, to Randy Moss and his family. But Rudy, it makes it so hard for these coaches now, because think of all these years that college has been in control, the universities. And now, as soon as the transfer portal came out, it kind of switched it over, like you said, to a business like the NBA and the NFL now. So it went from the coaches having total control to the players having total control.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't be surprised if the Marshall team is kind of like the picket line now. and that's where it's headed now. And that's why you see a lot of these coaches stepping away, because they don't have the authority that they've had in the past. And so, yeah, something's got to give shortly, man, or we're going to lose a lot of the great coaches in basketball, NCAA, and the NCAA football.
Yeah, something's got to give, and I think it's now more than ever. It's got to be holding players' feet to the fire when
It
it
is a
comes.
business.
Yeah, NIL became a business when it was introduced into college sports. So now that it's a business, this is your business opportunity. This is your chance. You're making money. Well, I'll be honest, if I go to my regular job and I act a fool or I misrepresent the company in a bad way, I'm not keeping my job.
Right. And then you can leave and just go somewhere else.
And yeah, I can't just go to my boss and say, guess what? I'm transferring to another company. And that's it. And expect the company to take me when I go to that other company. It doesn't work like that. So that, and I even had a conversation with a great guy who does a podcast, and he made a point that I wanted to ask you on. He said, well, you hold players to NIL deals and contracts. Doesn't really hurt because you can still run commercials if Red McCombs, Ford is sponsoring Derek Gervin, but then you're like, well, I don't want to stay at UTSA. I want to go over here. You can technically still take the NIL money and represent Red McCombs. You can do commercials up wherever. You just need a Ford truck or something like that to shoot them. So the money can go wherever. But what he was suggesting was the transfer portal needs to be looked at as a business. It needs to be looked at as a regular professional style portal. What does he mean? You know what? If I'm losing Derek Irvin to the University of North Carolina, I need compensation. I need compensation because why? Derek, I worked my ass off to recruit you to come to my school and made a commitment to you by signing you this money, by giving you this money, putting all of our effort into training you to be the best player you can be for you to transfer to another school. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my resources. We need compensation. What is compensation? Not necessarily money, but it's a trade for a trade, a player for a player. Can you imagine college going down that road?
You're not making a lot of parents happy right now by even
No,
mentioning the idea. But I mean, hell, it's a business, and
it sure.
once you make it a professional, then anything goes basically. So I don't want to be losing players because of this or because things that are out of my control. So I understand you clearly, and they're gonna have to figure it out because this is a dicey situation we're dealing with now. Players, you're not happy this week, and you have a right to go. You just leave and go somewhere else. You don't play in the bowl games. I mean, it's so many different things now. They're gonna have to figure it out. And I'm looking at Tim. Should there be a limit on the transfer? There should be a limit on the transfer portal. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, you have a guy that transfers. Okay, so not even a guy. There's a female basketball player. What? Lith, I think. I'm
Haley
sorry.
Van Lith.
Kelly Van Lith. She's
Haley
transferred.
Van Lith, yes.
Haley Van Lith. I'm sorry. She's transferred every single year that she's played college basketball. So again, it goes back to the resources. Well, we've given you everything you wanted. You've succeeded, but you want to transfer out to another school. I just wasted an entire year of our resources, of our coaching staff's time to get you prepared for possibly going to a WNBA draft in the future for you to say thank you. And no disrespect, but when I look at players that do that, it's them throwing the middle finger at the school.
And she's not on anybody's draft board right now.
No.
I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, no, she's not.
All that transferring, and now she's at TCU. A couple more beat downs like they took against South Carolina. She might be transferring again.
They should probably transfer to South Carolina.
They're not going to have her. It didn't work out at LSU. Didn't work out at Louisville. But, I mean, yeah, this is getting out of control, man. And what next? If she gets unhappy there, and then they give you this extra year now and all of that. You got players now. I thought, wasn't it a few years ago, if you were 20 years old, you were extinct, basically.
Pretty
Now
much.
you got players that's 24 and 25, like Bo Nix, and it's like it changed overnight. You letting people play 6 years and all that kind of stuff. It's just like it's too much. I don't understand. There's no balance there, and there's got to be some kind of balance.
It is so crazy. And I'm trying to see if I can find. Okay, I found it. I don't know if you saw this. Well, you know what? Before we even go to a commercial break, we're going to start the segment. Caught off guard moment, Derek. Here we go. This is your caught off guard moment. I don't know if you can see it clearly. We're going to do it here. Check this out. Trevor Lawrence and Cam Rising both were in high school in 2017. Cam Rising is still eligible. Trevor went into his 5th season next year in the NFL, while Cam Rising is still college eligible.
That's 9 years, Rudy. Wow.
You just made the comment on that.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. And it gives you an unfair advantage. It gives you all kind of unfair advantages. I mean, you playing against young kids. Some of these guys, 18 years old, man. And this guy, he's almost been around for 18 years just on the college level after his high school. I mean, damn, come on, man.
I mean, the guy technically, if you go by years, he's a freshman in high school when it comes to years of college eligibility, man.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia. We just did a Sweep Unplugged live edition with Jeff Garcia. It's going to be rebroadcast tomorrow morning, along with Sweep the League TV. We're starting to rebroadcast the shows in the morning for those of y'all that don't catch them in the evening. He's asking me and Derek, does NIL hurt smaller teams like UTSA, UIW? Absolutely it does. You saw it this year. I mean, UTSA lost players. It's not so much NIL too. It's transfer portal. They transfer out, they go where, but because of NIL, UTSA doesn't have the money that a lot of these other schools have. What's crazy is, again, Coach Traylor and the staff, they put the work in with a lot of these guys that are transferring out to bigger schools, and it hurts. And the times that we were covering UTSA and the times that I was in the press room, the press conference, and looking at Coach Traylor talk, especially after a loss, it took a toll on him. It takes a toll on a coach because not even a year later, these guys are, at another school getting more opportunities, the same opportunities they were getting at UTSA under a different coach. You start to question yourself. And it makes me wonder, does Coach Traylor question himself, what did I do wrong for these top players to transfer out? It hurts everybody.
He didn't do anything. And it's not even you're doing anything wrong. It's just that they've made it a business now, and you're going to go to the best opportunity. Yeah. And you look at UTSA, UIW, what's one thing they don't have that the others have? The facilities.
Yeah.
So people have to factor that in as well. I want to play, if I'm playing, go back to my day, I want to play in front of 20,000. Yeah. I don't want to play in front of 5,000.
Yeah.
And especially when you're talking about me growing my brand. So you don't even have to be doing anything wrong as a coach. It's just that a lot of these guys look at it as a better opportunity, Rudy, even though sometimes we know the grass is not greener on the other side. You uproot and you go to a bigger school, but then you sacrifice, you play less minutes. But I don't think some of the people think about that sometimes. So, Coach Traylor hasn't done anything negative to me. He's been nothing but a blessing to UTSA. But sometimes when you start talking about money, I mean, we know money talks and BS walks. So you're going to go to the most known school.
Yeah, you're right on that. I mean, and the thing too is this as well. I know UTSA, it's a big school, but it's not a quote unquote fully funded school when it comes to athletics yet. I mean, they've got money, but they don't have the money. And you're right about the facilities. Now, so here's the question, I guess, before we go to commercial break, I'm going to ask a question on UTSA. I'm trying to figure out how to word it because it's not a bad question, but it's the way you word it. Are donors reluctant to donate big money, knowing that these high caliber and highly recruited players are probably not going to end up here for good? So, in other words, the program is here, it gets way up here because you've got all these players. Then you start to see them enter the transfer portal, it comes down. Last season, it came down. I mean, they made a bowl game, but they didn't have a great season. So do donors look at it and say, well, why am I going to pony up the money for a brand new basketball arena for UTSA if there's no success? It's such a terrible thing to think about.
Yeah, well, it gives a dumb. That's a good point you made because Duke upgrade their facilities, new room locker. Yeah, sometimes but Duke, Tim, is a different situation because Duke, you're looking at an established school that's been around for years and years, and then it's hard to compare a UTSA right now and UIW to a Duke Blue Devils. And so, if a guy from Duke from UTSA or Incarnate Word even hears that we heard that Duke called today. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, you're going to go where you think you have the best offer. It's not even about education anymore, sadly. Yeah. It's about who gives you the best opportunity to provide financial wealth for your family. And usually that's the bigger schools. You can even look at it now. Look how everybody was surprised that Boise State and Arizona State are in the top 4 of the college football playoffs because they're not the bigger schools like an Alabama or LSU and those type of schools. And it puts you at a disadvantage, and it puts when you talk about the people that's spending money, the donors, it puts them at a disadvantage.
As well, and that's true. And it goes even at the professional level. When the Spurs weren't winning most recently, before Wemby, the attendance was low, and I heard a lot of people, me honestly, Derek, I'll be straight up, I really don't buy tickets to go see Spurs games because I look at it, well, I'm spending probably $200 in tickets alone. My family's there, we're going to want to eat something, that's probably another $100 in concessions. It adds up. So personally, that's why I haven't bought tickets to Spurs games and all that. I've attended some, but
Rudy, if they're playing Utah or they had a loser season, man, you're gonna pass up going to the game and spend that money on chicken and the pickle.
Yeah, I would. I mean, there's other places I can spend the money, but that comes to the point is if you're not having a great season, nobody wants to see you.
No,
that's sad, and that's what hurts. NIL. It's where NIL needs to make up for lost ticket sales and lost fan support. But,
Rudy, do you know that we're still playing at the Convocation Center?
Yeah.
And I played there in my career started at UTSA in 1982. That's 42 years ago. And we're still playing at the Convocation Center.
Yeah, I know.
That's not going to help you compete. And I tried to talk a little bit to the athletic director, but I didn't want to, say a whole lot. But if you expect better, then you have to have better facilities. Yeah. And that's how you get the recruits to start coming in from all over the country. Right now, some of our coaches, we had one of our coaches that passed away, Brooks Thompson, rest in peace. He only recruited in the certain places in the California area.
Yeah.
And a little bit in Arizona. But you want to be able to compete. You go, recruit from all over the country.
Yeah.
But that means you have to have the facilities to do so, which also means you got to have what? The money.
Yeah.
Today, look at you today. If you were playing football and you got an opportunity to go between UTSA, who I love, but you also get an opportunity to go between them and the Texas Longhorns. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It is. It's a no-brainer.
And you're going to play. You're not going to sit there on the bench. You're going to actually be in the games. It's a no-brainer. There's no way UTSA can win that player.
No, there's definitely not a way. I mean, even for the guys that don't get a lot of playing time, I mean, you're still going to the University of Texas. You're still going to get noticed. You're on a major network. Your big games are going to be picked up nationally.
Arch Manning.
Arch, future Dallas Cowboy Arch Manning. We said it here first.
How many games has Arch played so far? And he's a millionaire. And I'm not even talking about his family's money. I'm talking about name, image, and likeness. He's a millionaire.
I think he gets like 3 or 4 million.
Yeah.
Off of that. And you mentioned he hasn't even played a full season. Now that'll change next year. That's crazy because, you know, Quinn Ewers now, you and I talked about it and I mentioned it to you. Quinn Ewers was debating whether he wanted to go pro or come back for another season. And it just came out today that that's a decision he needs to make and he was going to think about. So there we go. You know, you guys heard it here first a while back that Ewers was probably going to come back for another season, but guess what? It's not with the Longhorns. As a matter of fact, I think it's look at
3.1 million for Arch, and he hasn't played 6 games. He hasn't even played 10 games, right?
Yeah.
And then look at Frank Harris. How many years Frank Harris started for UTSA?
Mm-hmm.
You think Frank has made $3 million?
No.
So I mean, you had a disadvantage if you don't have the facilities and you don't have the donors. So I mean, something has to be done, man. Because there's no way I'm looking at it, and I'm laughing because I'm looking at Cam Rising. 1, 2, 3. I'm just like, dang.
I'm dumbfounded, man. And the crazy thing is, he's got another year of eligibility. How do you have another year of eligibility? I mean, I know the red shirt, but I mean,
he's watched Utah, the school grow. They probably added like 5, 6 more buildings since he's been there. Man, he's already gone. I mean, he's already seen friends come and go and graduated a couple of times already. And he's still there. Isn't that amazing? Because you're looking at now, what is this? The 5th year for Trevor Lawrence?
He's in year 4, but next year will be his 5th year. Yeah. And
they come out at the same time, and Cam Rising's still in college.
They came out at the exact same time in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. They went to college for the first time in 2018. Trevor said, I'm bolting after 2020. Cam Rising said, you know what? I love the college life. I'm sticking here for another 5 years at least. Eventually, he's got to go pro, man. This is Derek Gervin, Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos here. Take a quick commercial break. On the way back, NBA viewership is down. Let's see if we can figure out why. We kind of know the reason why NBA viewership is down, but now the league's kind of pressing on it. And it doesn't help that you have 4 teams out. Well, they're considering the Thunder, but they're saying that the 4 teams in the NBA Cup finals aren't exactly the teams that they wanted, and that's what's driving viewership down. We're going to get to the bottom of it, as well as LeBron James. Did he just quit today, Derek? I think we're going to have to get into that as well. It's Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be back in just a little bit. Sweep the League. Be sure to be a subscriber. Go to Sweep the League TV on YouTube. Search Sweep the League TV. Hit subscribe. Be a subscriber now. We'll be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go. For the ones who doubted, now we're showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paving the way. Had a bad day, but
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy Derrick and Coach Gia. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
All right, welcome back, Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Coach Joe on the recruiting trail. He should be back here very, very soon. So we'll have the three amigos, as we called, or the three stooges, as we were referred to as last night, hopefully back together soon. All under one roof here at Sweep the League. Be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. We're over 1,230 subscribers, trying to get to 2K by the end of the year. I know it's only a few days, but I think we can get a major push here.
We can do it.
Yeah, we can get to 2K pretty quick here. So, we're gonna get into some NBA talk. Obviously, it's San Antonio's first choice for NBA talk. I totally agree. This is probably the best choice you can get for NBA talk. Why? Because we're the only show with a former NBA player. He knows ins and out about everything. So, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I don't know any other show.
We're a threesome, man. We got it going. We study this. We pay attention to detail.
We sure do. And the detail that has come up today when it comes to the NBA is the griping about the entire the NBA Cup. The Emmett Cup, is that what it's called? The NBA Cup Finals.
The Emirates Cup.
Emirates Cup, I'm sorry. So it says the NBA ratings are down 48% since 2012, down 28% this year alone on ESPN. Every other sport, and that includes WNBA. Every sport has gone up. Now, NFL, everybody loves the NFL for, we all know why. It's the NFL. Everybody loves hard-hitting action. MLB, it did go up in ratings this year because of Ohtani.
Aaron Judge. Yeah.
Judge, you saw a lot of exciting baseball. Obviously, the playoffs for baseball, it's just rising. There's a whole group of young players and prospects for baseball that's going to be able to catapult the league a little bit more. Dylan Cease and Paul Skeens, I mean, the way they pitch, everybody's just behind it right now when it comes to MLB. WNBA, Caitlin Clark Factor, Angel Reese, another great group of WNBA prospects going to be coming into the league next year. Paige Buchers, Juju Watkins. You got a lot of people just coming. So leagues are going up. But why is it such a surprise that the NBA, which I see it all day long, people complaining, this game is terrible. This game is trash. This is horrible. You had some Spurs fans shitting on Lonnie Walker for Lonnie saying that he loves playing in Europe because they play basketball the right way in Europe. Something that we've all been telling everybody. The European game is way better. The college game is way better because they play basketball the right way. So down 48% since 2012. It's not a shock to me. I don't like the product today. What are you thinking about the ratings dropping? Because it's shooting 90 to 100 3-point attempts a game, and it's just getting boring.
Well, you know me. I try to bring something that these guys on ESPN, they'll talk about it 9 months later. But one reason is the 3-point shooting. I believe the other day it was Boston or someone shot 56 threes.
Yeah.
And so the game has become predictable. You either get to the basket, you might have a wide open dunk, but sometimes you pass that up and you throw it out to the 3-point line. But Rudy, I'm going to mention another reason why.
Yeah.
And I really believe this. We're looking at a changing of the guard right now. And I don't know if you've thought about it, but the marquee players right now, the LeBron James, the Steph Currys, the Joel Embiids, you look at these teams, Jimmy Butler, these guys have been around a while, Chris Paul, right? They're all aging right before our eyes. So the marquee players, the main ones we've been accustomed to the last 10 years, are on their way out. Yeah. And what I mean by that, if you look at their teams are not doing great right now. You're looking at teams like the Atlanta Hawks, teams like the Orlando Magic, Houston Rockets. These teams are on the upward trend right now, and they aren't marquee players. The names are not marquee names. And so that's the other reason I think that the ratings are down. Even right now, LeBron's out, been out a few days now. Joel Embiid has practically been out all season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been a different, we're watching the changing of the guard, which for some is good. But you got to realize Steph Curry's getting up in age, all of these guys, and they're not winning right now. So a lot of people aren't as interested as they were. What are we accustomed to? We were seeing LeBron go to the finals every year, weren't we?
Yeah.
That's not happening now. Kawhi Leonard, look at Toronto, was doing how well they did in 2019. Kawhi's not even playing right now.
Yeah.
So it's a different game we're watching, and a lot of the guys don't have the name brand, and so that's turning people off. So you add in the three-point shooting, and then you don't have the marquee names out there right now. Ratings are going to be, that's just my assumption, and that's why I think the ratings are down so low.
Yeah, and they're also, it's too much of me basketball.
Well, don't even get me started on that. It's the back that goes back to growing your brand.
Yeah. And
all that one-on-one. I don't like all that ISO. It's a lot of ISO ball now. But if you look at the teams like the Boston Celtics, they don't play the ISO ball. They play team basketball. And so right now the top teams are who? Boston and probably OKC, I would say.
OKC.
Yeah, but even OKC, are those really marquee names? Shea Gilgeous is, but what about the other guys?
No, I mean SGA wasn't a marquee now. Okay, so I'm gonna go a step further. SGA wasn't a marquee name for everybody until last year.
Yeah,
when he was MVP candidate.
First team All NBA. Yeah,
yeah. Beforehand, basketball heads like you, me, and a lot of other people that follow the game knew SGA was good. We really didn't know how good, but we knew he could be very special. Last year was his welcome party, and everybody found out how good he really was. And that's an MVP candidate. But when you look at it without SGA, I mean, even Chet Holmgren is not a superstar. Jalen Williams is a star on rising. He's not a superstar.
Jalen Green's not a superstar.
Yeah, Green's not a superstar.
Paulo Banchero's not a superstar.
Paulo's an all-star. I'll give him an
all-star, but not superstar.
He's not a superstar.
Trae Young's not a superstar.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go from down to all of these teams, they have really, really good players, but these aren't the guys that you're going to run home to go watch if you know they're playing that night. If you got something better to do, like I mentioned earlier, if you and I got a game of pickleball on tonight, are we going to pass up our pickleball and our meal to go home and watch Trae Young? Be honest.
No.
Well, that's going to hurt the ratings. We're used to the Michael Jordans, the prime LeBron James, the prime Steph Curry. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense because
Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. For those guys, you're going to stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
The world stops for a while, for 2 hours of great excitement. We don't have that right now. If you look at even Milwaukee, I love Giannis. But if you look at their team, Chris Middleton has been hurt for the last, 3-4 years now. So Dame and Giannis are finally getting acclimated to each other, right? Yeah. But Dame some people might consider Dame a superstar. I don't. I consider him a very good player.
He's an all-star.
Yeah, so you don't have the big names like that anymore. And guys like LeBron, we're hearing now. What's the rumblings we're hearing now about LeBron? If he were to leave right now, what team would he be going to?
Wasn't it Golden State?
See, so I'm just saying, so things, we're watching things change. And the fans want consistency. And if they don't see consistency, you got all these 50 3-pointers a game. I mean, it's boring. It's boring. I hope the NBA is listening. It's boring. And fans don't want to see that. They're going to go watch what? Football is on it, getting near the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So even me, I'm a basketball player. But I'm going to be honest. If it's Orlando playing against Atlanta, and I love the NBA, my family, my brother, brought us to San Antonio. But if I'm watching Orlando and the Atlanta Hawks, or I could watch the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, which one am I going to watch? What's the better product?
NFL.
Okay, so we got to try to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And the way we got to do that, and I'm just saying, in my opinion, we have to go back to real basketball. I watched Isaiah Thomas tonight, and him and I were on the same page. It was Brendan Haywood and Isaiah Thomas. And I told Isaiah said the exact same thing I did. The Pistons were 2 for 19 from 3-pointers in the first half, the Detroit Pistons. 2 for 19. So instead of taking all those threes, what's the high IQ thing to do?
Take twos. But what do the teams feel about that? They rather you take a 3 points beats 2 points, they say. Yeah. I'm not with the analytics. I say we make enough 2-pointers, the smart shots will make up for the errant 3-point shots that they're taking. So people want to see real basketball. And that's even the younger people today. They're tired of seeing all these. You already know what's going to happen before it happens. They shooting the 3-pointer. You got guys that's around the perimeter. It might be 4 guys around the perimeter. One guy get the offensive rebound. He's the only guy under the basket. And where does he throw the ball back to? 3-point range.
People are tired of seeing that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Here's the thing. If you want to go by analytics, yes, I can hear the young guys. Well, a 3-point shot is worth more than a 2. But if I go down and get a 2-pointer, you go down, shoot a 3 and miss, I go back down and get a 2, that's a 4-point turnaround. Maybe more if you think about it.
This is my analytics. If you shoot 23 pointers and you make 4 of them, and you shoot 22 pointers and you make 6 of them, aren't those both 12 points?
Yeah, but you know what? The 2-pointers are a lot easier.
So the 2-pointers still matters. If you look at the teams that won the championship, I mentioned Toronto Raptors. What did their best player do best? Kawhi. Mid-range game, right?
Mid-range.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant, mid-range game. Michael Jordan, mid-range game. Really, look at LeBron, mid-range game. Look at Jokic, mid-range game.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see. They want to see good basketball, pure basketball. And that's what we're missing right now.
We definitely are. And, Jeff on here for Locked On Spurs, again, we had a Sweep Unplugged live episode earlier, so that'll be replayed again tomorrow morning. He's asking us both, will Adam Silver go down as the NBA's worst commissioner? Now, I don't know the commissioners after Adam Silver, but if we're talking right now, how much blame can you put on Adam Silver for the game being watered down?
I've talked to him, man, on Messenger.
I know you have. And that's why I'm asking you.
To be honest, though, I won't say he's the worst commissioner, but, Larry O'Brien was pretty good. David Stern, rest in peace, I thought was pretty good. Yeah. Why this is what makes him the worst commission. That means that a lot of people don't like the fact that he is more for the players. You look at the commissioner for the NFL. What's that guy's name? Roger Goodell?
Roger Goodell.
Who does Roger Goodell support? It's obvious, right?
Yeah.
He supports the owners.
Yeah.
But you look at Adam Silver, he tries to coddle these young guys. I'm just being honest. I love the man. But he tries to coddle these young players. And it's backfiring. It's backfiring, and it's backfired in a big way. So, a lot of different factors are turning people off.
Yeah, and to say he's the worst, I would say out of the commissioners that we've had so far,
he's the nicest.
He's the nicest. He doesn't like to have confrontation. He doesn't like to go. He
doesn't like controversy, confrontation. That's it. That's Adam Silver.
Exactly, and just to go point, David Stern didn't care about it. Look at the whole CP3.
David Stern is going to be stern.
Yeah, he was legitimately like this is terrible.
Hey, he treated it like a business.
Yeah.
If you look at it today, isn't it more entertainment? Even when before the games, you know how they show the WNBA and the NBA as well, how we got to look at them coming in the tunnel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care what they wearing coming to the game. I want you to get your butt out there and you get out there, work hard, be prepared to be true to your team, work your butt off.
Yeah. And
that's all I care about. I don't care what kind of shoes you're wearing into the gym. I care nothing about that. I care about the product that's out there on the floor.
Yeah.
So they got to figure it out, man.
Hopefully they do figure it out. I mean, I really do hope they figure it out because the NBA is a promising thing. It's one of the best sports associations around because growing up, I died to watch games. You know, Derek, it's sad because when I was growing up, I loved watching teams. And, you know, as much of a Spurs fan as I was, when I would turn on TNT and see it was, you know, the Cavaliers versus the Pistons, I watched it. When it was, you know, Vancouver versus Toronto and they were still expansion teams, I watched it because I liked the product. The product was good. The players were getting showcased, but it wasn't like it wasn't forced down my throat consistently like everything's about LeBron. Everything's about Kevin Durant.
I heard you clearly. You said teams.
Yeah, everything like that. I watched because I can go check out a Denver Nugget game versus a Los Angeles Clippers game where the most popular player on both teams was maybe Danny Manning or was maybe at the time Michael Adams or LaFonso Ellis. You know, I knew, and what's weird is I know a lot of these teams and a lot of the players on the teams because they were all being focused on. It wasn't one individual.
Rudy, and I'm laughing because I got to be honest with you. Before we came on the air, while you were on with Jeff Garcia,
yeah,
my girlfriend and I were talking, right?
Yeah,
and we were talking about the game of basketball, how it's changed now about the me stuff,
yeah,
as opposed to the team-oriented game. And we just had that conversation less than an hour ago. Yeah. So it's you're talking about it now. So I had to laugh because it was about the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey. Yeah. And now, you know, people are tired of all these celebrations. You know, for everybody that likes celebrations, there's one or two that don't like them. You know, they want you to act like you've been there before. And I'm talking like people my age, you know, those people still matter, you know, the 50s, the 60s. They want people that are fortunate, you know, happy to be playing a living. You know, you get to make a living doing these sports. If you look at it now, a lot of these players seem like they're entitled, don't they?
Yeah.
That they act like this is something that it's not the same reward. I don't think they understand. Every day that you play in the NBA or the NFL, there's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we've kind of gotten away from that, man. And people, we got to kind of reel it back in. You got to respect the sport. No one is bigger than the game itself. And I think some of the young people today have forgotten that. And it turns people off, man. You know, the whining, the crying, all of that stuff becomes a nonsense. I mean, you know, it becomes a headache. You know, you don't want to see, you're going to see arguing. They're getting up in the referees' faces. It becomes a turnoff after a while.
It really has. And that's, you know, the thing with the referee part is you're setting a horrible example. You're already setting a horrible example for the youth that are playing basketball today as NBA players. I'm not afraid to say that on it because the youth are going to emulate and imitate what the veterans are doing, what the players are doing. So if you see Steph Curry dropping logo threes, well, guess what? It's happening in CYO basketball. It's happening in middle school basketball. It's happening that young. Now, if you're seeing Draymond, if you're seeing LeBron not go back, not play defense, just kind of, you know, falling back and stuff.
I got something to say. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are going to imitate and do what these guys are doing. And when I played basketball, I played like players that I've always mentioned to you. And it was always hard work for me. It was, I worked harder than a lot of the kids do these days at the game.
I got a question for you along that line, though. And tell me, be honest. How old are you now?
I'm 45.
Okay, 45. I'm 61. Tell me this. Did you ever think there'd be a day where you'll be worried about, you know, you hear people talking about, man, that son of a gun or son of a, you know the word, messed up my parlay.
Never. Never.
So when they added the legal gambling, man, that's another issue. So now you got people that really angry at players. They don't want to support the players because that mother messed up my parlay last night.
Yes.
And that's the stuff we're dealing with today, man. So it's a lot of things that have to be cleaned up, man. We got to get back to loving the game for the purity of the game. And when we do that, you'll see the ratings go back up.
Yeah, it's got to be the game. And I got into a small, not even an argument, just a small back and forth banter type thing, because you clearly saw Cam Johnson travel, and I said, forget the pass or forget that. When are we going to start calling traveling again? And then here comes the gather step. People don't realize the gather step wasn't. It was a part of the game, but in 2009, I believe they remodified it. They remodeled it basically, and said this is what the gather step is now. Think about that. In the 2000s, they had to redo the travel rule so it can increase scoring. I mean, I had no problems with the travel rule. There was no such thing as that gather step that people talk about today. Oh, it's always been a part of the NBA. That's BS. Do your research. It was just added. It was remodified.
Which player basically exemplifies the gather step better than any player in the league? He's in Milwaukee.
Well, that would be Giannis. But James Harden is another one.
Well, Harden, I don't even want to get into that because he's stepping sideways. He's basically breakdancing.
Yeah.
When he was in Houston, and it was ugly to see. See, even then, that was ugly basketball. He was scoring 36, 37 points.
Yeah.
But it was like the rule, it was like he was playing. They weren't letting him, he didn't have to play within basketball rules.
No.
And as you see, they've kind of modified that now. But you got guys taking 4 steps now, Rudy. I mean, come on, man.
It's terrible.
It used to be what we call 1.5.
Yeah.
We went from 1.5, which is 2 steps, people, but now we got 3, 4 steps. And then they say it changes on depending on who makes the move. If Kuminga makes the move, it might be a travel. If Giannis makes the move, it's celebrated.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of confusion.
It's such a terrible thing. And that's the reasons why, yes, the ratings are low. Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. sweep the league. News came out earlier, man. New York Post is posting it, and this is what came out today. LeBron James is stepping away from Lakers for personal reason as he battles an unusual drop-off. Now, a lot of people saying this has to involve his personal life that, is covered by the entertainment world that we're not going to get into. But another group of people say it's because he's struggling right now with his game. People are saying that LeBron has just quit. He might just quit the game of basketball. I don't know how to take this, but I understand if you got to go for personal reasons, if you got something going on. But if it comes out that it's just because he's struggling with basketball, man, my mentality was always, if you're struggling, if you're a shooter, what? You keep shooting the ball. And if you can't knock down a jump shot, shout out to my coaches that always taught me, if you're not knocking down a jump shot, you know what? Go draw a damn foul, get to the free throw line. You want to be able to see the ball go through the net. If you're a hitter in baseball, you keep swinging till you get that hit. I mean, there's no personal reason to get off of a game if it's because you're struggling. And that's the only gripe I have on that, if that's the reason.
Did Anthony Davis hurt his feelings when he made his son get up, like most rookies?
Oh, probably. I'm sure of it.
When he pulled rank, like rookie get up. No, but LeBron, I mean, we've seen this before, man. To me, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about him, but it's just like he's bailing out on the team again. But we've seen it before. I've heard now it's supposed to be his foot is bothering him. But he's had a rough 8-game stretch, and this is when the team needs him the most. Even being at the game, being on the bench, people got on Kawhi when Kawhi was sitting up in the booth up there, and he wasn't there to represent his team. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, they don't do the same with LeBron. They move the goalposts, and right now his son is still part of the team, so he needs to be there. and he needs to be there for Anthony Davis, man. Anthony Davis has played more in the last 2 years, probably than 5 years combined.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that it's really maybe I think it's mental fatigue, man, to be honest. And then I got to believe this as well. The team is not going to go very far if you look at it.
Yeah.
I think there's been rumblings about him going to Golden State. And I think that's something that might be on the table. Of course, he would have to agree to a trade, but there's several factors, man. I hope the truth comes out eventually, but he needs to be there for his team because he's getting paid to be there for his team.
He really is getting paid to be there for his team. And it could be that the possibility of him being traded to Golden State or another team is on the table, and that's why he's not playing. I mean,
can I say this, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Reality. Even if he goes to Golden State, they're still not winning the championship.
No.
So him and Steph's 34, 35 now.
Can he coexist? And as much as Draymond Green loves LeBron and they talk about everything, I even think that is a kind of an issue if he's teaming up with Draymond. I mean, I don't see it.
You have to tear up your roster to get LeBron, first of all. So if you look
Draymond
at
may
it,
be part of it.
well, Steph is. If you look at Steph, does Steph look the same to you without Klay Thompson?
No, definitely
So I don't know if people paying attention to that. You know, I am. He hasn't looked the same without Klay, and then bringing in LeBron doesn't really fix the situation because you got to give up 3-4 players and draft picks just to get him. So I'm hoping it's just mental fatigue, man, or the foot. But I mean, with LeBron, I mean, you never know, man. He is I call him Little Hollywood a lot of times. So hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
You know, people out there saying, well, all Steph has to do is become Olympic Steph. Well, come on. The Warriors don't have the Olympic squad that Steph had. That's the reason why Steph was Steph. He was surrounded by NBA All-Stars and superstars. So the Warriors aren't that. Steph's not going to get it done like that. I mean, it's just him. And, you know, even if he got LeBron to team up with him in Golden State, you're right. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going anywhere at all.
Steph looks frustrated, doesn't he?
He looks very frustrated.
When was the last time you saw Steph Curry, a guy who knows all about the shot clock and all that? When was the last time you saw Steph take a errant shot like he did in the game that they just lost?
It's been probably never.
That's a frustration thing. That's uncharacteristic of Steph Curry throughout his career.
Yeah.
So he's not happy right now. And then, you got Buddy Hield and Gary Payton II and Poshimsky. They're out there arguing on the floor. And sometimes that's going to happen. But then you got some arguing that could be negative. And then you got Draymond back to flagrant fouling people again. So it's a lot of negativity. I say it again.
And getting in the refs' faces.
Oh, he's going to get in the refs' face. Did you see how he did right after the game?
Yeah.
And then look at Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr looks like I thought it was going to be Steve Nash. Remember a few years ago with the Tums commercial? Looked like it's going to be Steve Kerr instead.
Steve Kerr, dare I say this? And again, it's just body language and it's just my opinion. Steve Kerr really doesn't look like he wants to be there. He really doesn't. Just from what I can tell, he looks like he's kind of checked out.
He has not been the same since Mike Brown left. I don't know if people realize that.
Yeah.
And then who left this before the ship sank all the way? Bob Myers, the general manager.
Yeah, the guy who put it all in place.
He stepped away just before the season started, right?
Yeah.
He looks a lot happier as an analyst on television, doesn't he?
A lot happier.
Yeah, so he saw what was going to happen with the Titanic, and he was smart enough to jump off.
Yeah. And that's crazy because if you really look at Steve Kerr, I mean, you can tell he's kind of almost checked out, man.
He looks ill, man. He looked like he looked so bad last night. He said something about he felt like he was in hell or something. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was talking about the court for the Houston Rockets court, their cup play court or whatever it is. City
but
court.
he looks like he feels like he's in hell. He didn't look very well in his interview. So I mean, it can wear and tear. This game is stressful.
It's very stressful, man. Hey, we're going to be back tomorrow for our pick'ems, so we can get our NFL pick'ems in as well. Talk some more college football. We've got the bowl game starting up this weekend. But Derek, before we go, not necessarily caught off guard, but ESPN did release something, so maybe this is foreshadowing. But Ashton Genty is your Maxwell Award College Football Player of the Year. Normally, if you're the Player of the Year, there's a certain trophy that kind of goes with it. So could this be foreshadowed to where he's going to get the Heisman? I think Travis Hunter won the Biletnikoff Award earlier.
Biletnikoff Award, yes.
Yeah, so that would be the best receiver in college
yes.
football. But the Player of the Year is Ashton Genty. So I'm just going to – I put it up there for you to see. The possibility, I think.
How many times do you think Deion Sanders has been on the phone since he saw this award?
Honestly, I'm expecting a call from Deion in a little bit here.
But if this young man wins the Heisman, all I can say is that congratulations. And there's really wouldn't be any argument for me because he has earned it. I still say it could go either way, but you look at this guy here, he's had a magnificent season. So Boise State is number 3. I remember we closed out last night talking about them being a top 4 team and getting the first round bye. So that right there might, be telling us what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with Ashton Genty. Congratulations for being College Football's Player of the Year. Again, we will be back tomorrow at 9:00. Coach Gio, I've been talking to him, so he's definitely going to be coming on here pretty soon. He's actually in New York working right now. So
Central Park in the house. I saw him.
Apparently he lied to us and he was in Chicago last night eating pizza. I need to get to the bottom of that and see if I can track him down. We need to put 360, that Go 360 or whatever it is, on his phone so we can track everywhere he goes. Oh, man, but nonetheless, we appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. Be sure to go to our YouTube channel, Sweep the League TV. Year 2025 is around the corner. And I want to end with this, is that I've been talking to Shamaya, our executive producer. Man, there's so much more coming out that we haven't even discussed yet with everybody. So you don't want to miss it. Go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber. We're available on there. We're going to be available more on TikTok. We're going to be available on X. Facebook is probably not up and running right now. What it came down to, Derek, was I got a ban from Facebook. So I'm on kind of like a timeout. I have no idea why. I'm kind of arguing with them. So I have no idea why. I don't post anything.
Rudy, they censored my comments a few days ago. I was complimenting someone, and I don't know if the wording was whatever. I don't know, but they censored me, and then of course I protested, objected, and they left me alone. But man, Facebook, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Mark Zuckerberg, y'all got to do better.
Exactly. So we'll be back on Facebook whenever we can. But for right now, you can catch us on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber. Shout out to Jeff Garcia for the Sweep Unplugged live earlier. This show is going to be broadcast tomorrow morning along with that Sweep Unplugged live series that we've got with Jeff. So you're going to get a double dose in the morning tomorrow. Then we'll be back in the evening. Myself and Derek Gervin are going to be getting our NFL picks in and talk about everything else underneath the sports sun. So for Derek Gervin, it is Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again tomorrow, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey family.
Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger.
Shemaya, you did it.
Wemby, the king is crowned. Wemby, king is crowned. Future of the league and he's wearing a crown. We playing just playing checkers, no contest. Wemby's got the game on lock and he's making a statement. I'm talking about Wemby, the next in line. Future